Live.
What's hot? Know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni.
And when it's grim, be the Grim Reaper and go get it.
It's Mahomes' house. And it is good. Woo! Arrowhead man.
The Lombardi Trophy has a red and gold reflection.
You gotta fight for your right to party.
Woo, let's go.
Woo. Howdy, Chiefs Kingdom. It's Wednesday. It's 8 o'clock. It's Chiefs Kingdom Live. Thank you so much for joining us. While you're here, don't forget, click or tap that like, click or tap that subscribe. Help spread the word. Tell a friend, tell a family member, tell some Chiefs fans, tell them to tell some Chiefs fans. We'd appreciate the help. Got a good show for everybody tonight. Got some Chiefs news to talk about. We'll talk about the nice win against Minnesota over the weekend. And then look ahead to Thursday night football against the Denver Broncos at Arrowhead tomorrow night. Lots of good stuff to talk about. We'll break down some fantasy news and advice and maybe players to look at and help you win that ship in that fantasy league. Take some questions, just talk about whatever. It's your show too. So before we get into it, fellas, Nick, how are we doing tonight?
I'm doing great, man. Chiefs 1 seed in the AFC on a win streak, 4-0. I mean, I was texting on Locker Room Rant last night in the chat. I said we got Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce. Now we got Taylor Swift and the refs. It's just like putting all the Infinity Stones in the glove.
And the script writers. Can't forget the script writers. They're on our side.
Dude, we got everybody, man. It's just, Chiefs to the moon. So I'm good, man. How about you, Bo?
Oh, yeah, man. Victory week, right? Feels good. Not as stressful as a game as last week, but still a little bit too stressful to be like on Comfort Street. But hey, win's a win. I'll take it. Feeling good. Love the way our defense played. Potential on offense, you can see it, but just some things we need to sharpen up. Definitely a lot of drops to address, but a win's a win. We'll take it. Scotty, how you doing, man?
I feel like we've been talking about drops for
Pretty consistent now.
2 years now, but no. I'm doing good. I'm doing real good. Just enjoying this nice KC weather. It's been real pleasant here lately. So Chiefs are on a roll. Chiefs are winning. Life's good right now. All's good in Chiefs Kingdom. Looks like we got Cole and Brenda and Kevin in the house already. Good to see you all. Thanks for swinging by.
Hello to everyone in the chat.
Yeah. Get it going in the chat. So, Chiefs news. Nick Bolton, your guy, Bo, has been cleared to play.
Finally.
He's missed a few weeks here with an ankle injury. Looks like he's ready to go tomorrow. I kind of want to see what the chat has to think about this here, too, and I want to get your guys' opinion on this.
Mm-hmm.
We put out there on the Chiefs Kingdom Live X account, the app formerly known as Twitter. If you're not following us there on any other social medias, you can find us at Chiefs Kingdom Live. Do we really need Nick Bolton to beat the Broncos? And if not, should we just give him that little bit of extra rest with the long week till the Chargers game next week? Bo?
Two-part question. Do we need him? No. In my opinion, should he play? Yeah, I mean, if he's ready to be back, if he's 100 and says he's ready to go, let's get him back there, man. I mean, let's get him in there, knock off that dust as soon as possible. I don't think there's a lot of rust to really knock off with that guy, though. I think he just kind of comes back and fits right into the mold. But, let's get him back in there. I'm ready to just throttle a team. I don't know about you guys, but my PTSD of a past-time Chiefs fan was kicking in that last game, doing all the mental math about how the Vikings were always still in it. And so I'm just ready to just step on somebody's throat a little bit, and let's do it to the Broncos. Why not? Nick, what do you think, man?
Yeah, we got to get that Sweet 16, right? So, look, it's a divisional game. Divisional games, they don't count for more, but they do count for more, right? I mean, and the Broncos have played us tough the past couple of times we played them. And if you look at the Chiefs, these are the games where, for whatever reason, the Chiefs seem to struggle. We lost to the Colts, and we struggled against the Texans, and they took us to overtime when they were the worst team in the league. So I mean, it's all hands on deck. In my opinion, if he can play, he should go, and we just got to go and keep stacking these W's on top of one another.
Yeah, Cole brings up a good point. If he's 100%, yeah, let him get out there, let him play.
Yeah.
And maybe nobody's 100% right now at this point in the season anyway. So maybe if he's at 90%, if he's cleared to play, I guess he's good to play. To me, Drew Tranquil has just done such a fabulous job stepping in
Completely
for that guy. I almost would err on just give Nick that extra time to make sure he's really 115%, the old cliche, right? For the Chargers, that's a much more important game for the Chiefs. But I'm not going to be like upset or shed any tears that Nick Bolton is back. He's cornerstone of that defense. It's been playing lights out. We'll talk about them when we get to the Vikings game and our CKL poll here in a little bit. But, yeah, good to get that guy back, no doubt. Drew Tranquil, Chiefs Kingdom salute you for your service while Nick Bolton was out. Dude
crushed it.
Dude crushed it, bro. He fucking played awesome. Led the team in tackles, I want to say, every game that Nick Bolton was out. Was putting pressure on the quarterback, was dropping back in coverage, had the green dot on the helmet, was quarterback in the defense. So, yeah, awesome job by that guy. Hell of a signing. Chargers got to be kicking themselves in the rear end for letting that guy go, especially letting him when he ended up in Kansas City with the Chiefs. Some other injury news players, Travis Kelce. We'll talk about the injury and how we felt and what we thought when we talk about the Minnesota game here in a minute. But he's questionable, but it looks like people are reporting he's expected to play. The guy is just a freaking warrior, man. He goes out there and plays. Nick, you think that's the right move, playing Travis Kelce? Again, if he's out there playing, that means he's good to play. But you think you would sit him? Do you think you'd play him? What do you think?
He said on his podcast that came out today that he kind of just rolled his ankle. I want to say what's up to Reed out there in Oklahoma. Appreciate you watching there with Big Doug.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, I mean, he said he kind of rolled it and it kind of felt worse than he expected, I guess, and that's why he was, went and got it X-rayed. And so, look, if he says he's good to go, and the trainers, more importantly, say that he's good to go, because that him and Mahomes specifically will just run. I mean, I think they had to pull Kelce off the field. We're like, oh, no, you're not ready to go back out there yet.
Hold on, man. Hold on. Your results are not back.
We get on the sidelines. We're going to get you in there. But, I mean, if he's practicing and he's able to, pivot and stuff, I mean, we're playing – it's at Arrowhead, right? So – he's going to be playing on grass. He's not going to be playing on that artificial turf stuff. If the trainers and him say he's good to go, I mean, let's get him out there. I don't know. I mean, there's no risk of re-injury. I'm sure they're going to have it taped up. I mean, I think that we're not like far enough ahead in the division where we can drop games. So.
No, yeah, I agree with everything you just said, man, and kind of echoing what to like Nick Bolton. If he's 100, let him in there. These guys are so competitive. Like Scott brought up a good point. If they're 90, they're going to say they're ready to go, right? These guys are that hyper competitive. And it'd be. Could you imagine being on this team and trying to complain about a rolled ankle and trying to play mid-season, right? Patrick Mahomes, like, what? You got a what's that? What happened to you? Oh, that's cute. A little rolled ankle, right? No, I agree with Nick. If he's ready to roll, get him in there. We can't be dropping games, especially when we're so notorious to playing down to our opponents, and especially the Broncos. So get him in there. Let's have 87 light it up.
Yeah. Shout out to our man Reed hanging out there with Big Doug. Appreciate you swinging by. Good to see you. Yeah, I think they need Travis Kelce probably more than they need Nick Bolton, just for the sense that I don't think that's like a hot take or any kind of like earth-shattering Nico level insight into the game.
I don't think you hurt anybody's feelings saying that.
But
maybe that one dude.
It's a short turnaround.
that one dude.
That one dude. It's a short turnaround, but yeah, I think they need Travis. We're doing wide receiver by committee. guys are stepping up, making some plays. We'll talk about wide receivers here when we break down the Vikings game here in a minute. But yeah, so good to see him back out there. Tommy Townsend showed up on the injury report, which is a little strange there. I think whatever he's probably dealing with, maybe something happened in practice. I haven't really seen what happened with him, but Chiefs are pretty healthy right now at this point in the season, really, when you think about it. 5 weeks, 6 weeks in, you got most of your guys that you went into the season available. I think all those guys on the injury report are going to play. So,
yeah, I do too. Yeah.
So Chiefs are in good spot. Nick, you mentioned the winning streak here after dropping the home opener in that disappointing fashion to the Lions. They've gone on a tear here and won 4 in a row, and they've got a wounded team coming to town against the Broncos. They're healthy. It's looking good. The Chiefs are in a good spot here. Looks like our man Brian, one man shows in the house. Good to see you, Brian. Thanks for swinging by, man. Yeah, that's a good point too. Chiefs play for the postseason, right? So
yeah, true.
Chiefs be getting Charles Omenihu back on that defensive line, so that'll be good. One little last bit of news here before we get into the game against the Vikings. Old friend alert, Frank Clark is not making his return to Arrowhead with the Broncos. He's out with an illness.
Just got his jersey. Damn it.
Yeah, Bo just scored his jersey. I wish I would have known about that auction going on, or I might have had to up the price on you there for that bad boy, Bo. But
if you guys don't know, on the Chiefs app, there's a bid going on, an auction. They're giving away, or not giving away. It's an auction. You bid on it, but there's a ton of memorabilia from game worn, everything, gloves, jerseys, helmets. They even have pants on there for some reason. I don't know who's buying game worn pants. That seems a little unsanitary, but it's on there. And then just, some mystery boxes and whatnot with some guarantees. It's a pretty sweet deal. Check it out if you haven't. It's through the app, I'm pretty sure. If not on their website. So
yeah. What's up, John C? Good to see you, man. Appreciate you swinging by. One of the OGs in CKL here.
Oh yeah.
There's a comment here. Someone was asking if Butker would punt. I don't know who the backup punter is. I want to say it was on Carrington Harrison's show here at 610 Sports a couple weeks ago. They were talking about Travis Kelce punting the ball into the stands, and they're saying he actually has a leg on it. and then Patrick was saying, I got a bigger leg than Kelce, man. Like, they better not be putting him back there doing punt duties or backup punt duties before me. I don't see any way you see Patrick Mahomes out there punting the ball, but apparently he's got a leg to go with the arm. So that's a good question. Not sure who would do punt duty if Tommy Townsend can't go. But
who's the placeholder? I think that diverts to them. Placeholder is usually Butker, I think, right? Or no?
The placeholder, Townsend.
Townsend's normally the placeholder, right?
Yep.
Butker kicking.
Oh, right. Yeah, excuse me. Field goals.
Yep.
It reverts that way for field goals. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure about punters.
I don't think the Chiefs plan on punting much against the Denver Broncos tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that's
all the comments online have just been, well, I guess we just won't punt,
Maybe Justin Reed, he's the backup kicker, right? So maybe he can punt. I don't know if Justin Reed punt. Maybe that's who you see back there. But looks like our girl Carol V is showing up. Good to see you, Carol. She likes Nick Bolton. Is Kareem a free agent? No, I don't believe so.
Browns, right?
Yep. Kareem Hunt's on the Browns. They signed him when Nick Chubb went down with the season-ending knee injury. So let's talk about this game against the Vikings. Sunday in Minneapolis. Chiefs come out with I don't know if a narrow victory is the right word to use. That was a weird game. The Chiefs,
very weird.
It felt like they were in control the whole game, but they really weren't. I mean, they were losing there right at the end of the first, right going into half before the Chiefs kind of went down and got a field goal to tie it 13-13 at the halftime. But just how are you guys feeling? Overall thoughts of the game before we kind of start getting into some of the big plays and player performances and key moments. Bo, how are you feeling watching the game against the Vikings?
I wasn't as stressed out, like I said, as watching last week, but still just always doing that mental math. Like, oh, they can do this, they can do that, and they're right back in it. And they were. I mean, we kind of let them hang around, but overall, super impressed with just the performance of our defense still, man. I mean, I know they put up 20 points, but there's only so many drives you can stop. There's only so many drives you can allow as field goals. I think they just crushed it. Our secondary flying around the field, making incredible blocks, just tight coverage. You mentioned Drew Tranquil and the linebackers just doing their job. I wish we could have seen a little bit more pressure. I kind of felt like Cousins had a little bit too much time back there too often. But overall, man, just solid performance by the Chiefs. Stoked with the game, stoked with the outcome. But yeah, we'll get into the details here in a little bit. But yeah, just another impressive performance by our defense, and still thinking we have a top 10 defense. So, Nick, how about you?
I mean, it's a pretty big takeaway. I snagged this one because you can see it's a third down play. Justin Jefferson, one of the best wide receivers in the league. No chance, right? I mean, just clamp down.
Yeah.
Great job by Snead. I know he got a couple of penalties there, and one of them was just kind of, throwing his hands into his face at the line of scrimmage, but setting the tone and really not giving up too much to one of the better wide receivers in the league. I know he was injured,
one of the best. Yeah,
it's unfortunate. We don't want to see anybody get injured, but that was huge. Pacheco running on the first drive was pretty good. I mean, pretty amazing runs there. I'm going to say that even though we had some drops and we've been talking about drops, one of my big takeaways was we had some clutch ass catches in that game, dude. You look at Justin Watson.
Jay Watt.
Huge clutch catches, right? One was on second down, but one was on 3rd and 18. Mahomes is about to get killed. Throws the ball. Watson, it's contested. He has to, get right over that guy to catch it. Kelsey, I mean, I don't know how Kelsey made that catch, right? I mean, we had some premier catches. Even Justin Ross, who had a couple of drops in this game, had a catch where, I mean, people were saying you got Ross. So that was one of my takeaways was we do have some people that can make some plays on this team that, we've been kind of saying, oh, well, they've been throwing the Home Depot employees, this and that, but we do have some people that can really go up and get the ball and can get open in crucial situations. So.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a nervous game for me. Just watching it, you're on the road.
Did your appliances survive?
What's that?
Did your appliances survive?
Well, I wasn't home. I was watching the game elsewhere. So,
okay, gotcha.
But yeah, it was just like one of those weird games where like the Vikings, they took a little bit of a lead there, but overall the Chiefs were in the lead and had kind of control of the game most of the way. But, they never really got out to that like 17-3 score lead. They had some drives that kind of stalled out when they could have maybe got some separation. Defense got stopped. But yeah, overall, I mean, it was. I looked back and was watching the highlights and everything. I was thinking, man, why was I nervous about this game? Like it really was never in doubt. We'll just break down kind of the details. Vikings get the ball to start the game and fumble on the first play.
Turn it right over.
Chiefs, that was a nice play too. That was a forced fumble. That wasn't like a guy tipped it up in the air for an interception or something like that. I mean, they knocked it out of there. Got in, made a nice play by the defense, get the ball there. Set the tone, really. When you're playing an offense like the Chiefs, you can't really give them the opening kickoff and the second half kickoff. Chiefs march right down, get a touchdown, move the ball, look good. That Pacheco was running the ball well. Patrick and guys were moving the ball well.
Brenda's comment here. Her biggest takeaway is that Jefferson wants to play with Mahomes.
Yeah, we'll talk about Kirk. Yeah, we'll talk about Kirk Cousins here in a little bit. So, who was that? Do you guys recall who forced that fumble on that play?
I thought it was Snead. I don't know why I'm thinking that.
Yeah.
It's been a couple of days, though.
That's kind of been like you look at the Vikings and they're a 1-4 team, but they didn't look like a 1-4 team when we were playing them. I mean, they were game, right? They kept it fairly close and kept themselves in the game. Their defense actually played a little bit better against our offense than I thought they would. But Our man Dylan is showing up. Good to see you, Dylan. Thanks for coming by, man. It's
Yes,
good to
sir.
see you yesterday. So defense comes out, gets the ball right away. How are you guys feeling there when Chiefs get the turnover and start the game and the offense looking good, Nick?
So it's kind of funny. We're sitting there, and my girls are young. They don't want to sit there and watch football on a Sunday afternoon necessarily. And I was sitting there, and I turned to him. I said, "Okay, so if the first play from scrimmage here is a pick six, then we'll go ahead and go out for dinner tonight." And then the very first play from scrimmage was a turnover, and I was like, "Close, but not enough," Sorry.
Close, but no cigar.
So you're feeling great, right? I mean, that's the perfect position to be in because you want to get the ball to start the second half, and you want a 3 and out. That's typically your best case scenario. But
Right.
a turnover there on the first play, and you get the ball on their side of the field, you can go down and you score a touchdown, and now essentially you get the ball for the first possession both halves.
Yeah.
Realistically, that's the difference in the game when you look at it, right? I mean, that touchdown drive, we stole a drive from them. We turn it into 7 points, win by 7 points. So at that point, I'm feeling good. I mean, I know that the Vikings are a good team. I think they're better than their record indicates for sure. So, when you can steal a possession that early in the game, you're feeling pretty confident.
No, yeah. And not to beat a dead horse, because, I mean, you kind of touched on it all, but sitting here, we have family in town where, Albuquerque, the Balloon Fiesta is going on. There was a packed house, right? And so, exactly what Nick's saying. You're like, all right, 3 and out here, boys, 3 and out here. And then the first play is a turnover, right? Gets the whole house erupted. They're not necessarily all Chiefs fans either, but they know I am, and they're in there, and they're just like, all right. And like the house just starts rocking. So yeah, like Nick said, just sets the tone, feeling great at that point. And like, what more can you ask for, right? Like that's ideal. Yeah. And then to capitalize, get 7 off of it. Man, I wish we could have done that a couple more times, but hey, it is what it is. That's the perfect way to start. Scotty, how are you feeling after that?
Felt good. I was like, well, that's a good way to start the game. That's about the best start you can get. You get a turnover on the first play and then cash in for 7 points. So thought maybe the Chiefs are gonna have a little bit easier time. I mean, I didn't expect the Chiefs to win this game easily anyway. So our man Bo, our girl race car, I don't know that she was going wild there in the house when the first play was a turnover. She probably was not enjoying it like everybody else there in the household. But
sorry, race car.
Yeah, sorry about that race car.
She might have snuck off and stopped watching there shortly thereafter.
Right.
I've seen this game before.
Right. Let's just talk. And then the Chiefs they actually go down though, 13-10. The Vikings get the touchdown there. Pat leads a real quick drive though, gets us into field goal range. You mentioned a huge catch. I want to say was it on that drive by Justin Watson? Was that last drive of the first half?
Man, I think so. I think blurry right now.
Are you talking about the sideline catch?
Yeah,
was
the
first,
sideline
right?
catch. Yeah, the sideline catch.
Yeah, the toe drag. Yeah.
The toe drag on the sideline. Makes a hell of a play. Tie it up 13-13. The defense was playing well. In the first half, offense, 13 points for most teams in a half is, that's good production. But Chiefs kind of felt like the offense was sputtering a little bit there. They kind of left you a little bit lacking. You kind of felt like maybe they should have had a lead going into halftime. But let's just talk about Justin Watson, the toe drag on the sideline, made the other spectacular catch Nick referenced. That guy, that's a guy that a lot of people didn't want on the team, and he's come up clutch.
Yeah, so clutch.
You know what that play reminded me of? Is like when you're playing 500 in the backyard, and you throw it up, you're like, jackpot, right? And everybody's jumping, trying to fight for the ball. Justin Watson, man, was that play? Was that the first half as well? That dude was like,
he was on fire on Sunday.
Right? He takes the ball right out of the defender's hands. Looked like maybe it was a little underthrown, which is not really a diss on Patrick there because he had a guy rushing and had a guy right there coming down bearing on him. Justin Watson, this dude here is, I think he's still leading the team in yards. Nick, what'd you like out of Justin Watson?
Just kind of what you were saying. He seems like in crucial moments he can get open enough and then he can make the play. I mean, he's had some really clutch catches for the Chiefs. He's not going to be a guy that is going to get 1,200 yards, right? But I mean, you don't need that guy necessarily when you got Travis Kelce on your team. Travis Kelce's going to be the guy that's going to get 1,200, 1,400 yards for you. Really, what you need is another option when things break down that Patrick trusts and that can go up and get the ball, and that's what he's proven that he can do. I mean, week in and week out, he's that guy, right? Where, kind of reminds me of like Dan Sorensen a little bit, where like the talent isn't like super high, but somehow in crucial moments seems to have a nose to make some pretty big plays. Probably not like quite as big as Dan Sorensen, because I mean he had the playoff plays and stuff, but I mean that's a huge third down right there, right?
Yeah.
Like I
Completely.
think
It's like 3rd and
we had
17
quite
or
a few
something like that.
plays. Yeah, in 3rd and 17, I mean your quarterback is about to just get blasted by a rush. He chucks the ball up, and not only do you keep it from getting intercepted potentially, because a tip ball, anything can happen, but you go up and you can make that catch and you come down with it on 3rd down, extend the drive. We go down. I think we tie up the game right there before half. I mean, that's a huge turn of events for the Chiefs, right? If it goes the other way, who knows, what happens with the rest of the half. It's a totally different ball game at that point.
Yeah, completely. Yeah, man, I've been high on that guy since like last year. I just kind of like started noticing his consistency, right? Like you're saying, not like spectacular plays. I mean, although we can argue that that's what he's doing this year. I mean, I think he's making some really spectacular plays this year. But he's just proving to be a really consistent player, like a real go-to guy, like you're saying, in those clutch situations when you need somebody other than TMFK. He seems to be the guy that steps up and actually catches the ball. I mean, he's had some drops, but I mean, he makes up for it with plays like that completely. Really like the guy. I just love the fact that he's the guy that's kind of like shining in our receiving core. And I don't think anybody, definitely not anybody on this show, was going to predict that he was going to be the guy to be the one making all the 20+ yard catches this year.
Right. He also is the guy that had the great catch against the Bears on the sideline, kind of a similar play there. Bailing Patrick out and getting open downfield, and Patrick scrambling around, making a nice throw, and Jay Watt hauls it in. He's been far and away better than any of the other guys that were projected starters. He's been better than Tony and
noticeably.
I'm not sure where those guys are at right now. It's Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney and MVS. Justin Watson has outplayed all three of those guys. So kudos to him. Rashee Rice, he made a nice play. Justin Ross made a nice play. What do we think about the wide receivers from the game, Bo?
Well, R&R connection, Rashee Rice and Justin Ross, right? Like, oh man. I mean, yeah, they had some drops. I think that's an issue. I mean, Scott mentioned at the top of the hour, we've been talking about drops now for what seems like years, but it's something that like I'm okay with. It's not tipped interceptions. It's just drop balls, and like you're just like, oh man, that would have been great, but it's not like, oh, I can't believe this is the 7th tipped interception ball we're dealing with. I think it's something that these guys can definitely work on, sharpen up, and it's there's a lot of season left for these guys to really come out. And then Nick's showing this picture right here. Ross just coming up.
Look how much air that guy has right there.
That guy, his potential is right there. You see it, dude. He has just the flashes, right? And you're just like, let's go with this guy. And we've been high on these two since we got them, right? We're just kind of like, why aren't these coaches playing these guys way more often? And I think they're starting to see their potential too. And I think we start seeing those guys a lot more. 4-8. Let's go.
Yeah.
Nick?
Yeah, so I want to be consistent because we're pretty hard on Rice when he had drops, and Watson, I was kind of heartbroken when I saw him have a couple of pretty, I mean, easy catches that he didn't catch, right? You see the talent, you see what we just flashed up on the screen. And then, so maybe it's because he hasn't played much in the last few years. Rice, first game without a drop, right? I mean, he had a heck of a game. He didn't drop anything, so maybe there's a little bit of rust. Maybe I should have been a little easier on Rice because I'm going to be a little easier on Watson here, or not Watson, Ross. I'm going to be a little easier on Ross here. So I think that he was in the game for 6 snaps and he got 4 targets. So that's telling you that when he's in the game, they're scheming for him and he's getting open, right? So, I mean, those are all good signs. If these guys can develop into top tier receivers, just imagine what the Chiefs offense is going to be like for the next 4 or 5 years with these guys. I mean, it's really exciting to see the talent. It seems like we finally got a couple of guys that can really play ball. Rice with the ball in his hands. I mean, he's a great yak guy, right? So, so that within the big playability of J-Watt, man, he's the dude that's getting downfield and getting open. So I think we're starting to see some of the guys rise to the top here that Kansas City is going to be using for the rest of the season. And we're 4-1, and really we've been playing kind of subpar, trying to shuffle these guys around and figure out who can really play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not the guys that we thought it was going to be. So it's really exciting to see once they get even more rapport with Mahomes built, what they're going to be able to do.
Yeah, I was disappointing. Ross comes in, he makes the great catch you're just showing the picture of, where he playing above the rim. That's what they call it, right, in basketball.
Right.
But then he has the drops.
Yep.
And I just am thinking that's not the way you get more snaps.
Yeah, breadbasket too, right? I mean, they weren't difficult catches. It just looked like it went through his hands and his stomach.
Yeah, the one he had a kind of defender draped on his back and kind of was reaching around the back of him. I don't know that the defender necessarily poked the ball out or not, but he made it a little bit more of a difficult catch. He still should have caught it. I'm not trying to say it wasn't a drop, but no, the other one was a definite drop. But Rashee Rice, we've been hard on the guy. That was a hell of a catch he made for the touchdown. I mean, that was a bullet in traffic, and you could tell Patrick was fired up by that catch and that play. So these guys, I want to see Rice and Ross start poaching some snaps from Moore and MVS. MVS had another play.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Just not on the same page, right, with Patrick. And I don't – some people say the play was on MVS. Some people say Patrick kind of underthrew the ball. To me, or overthrew it.
The one that went out of the end zone? Is that the one you're talking about?
What's that?
The one that he threw out of the end zone over his head?
Yeah, I think it was he was wanting him to do something different, right? Or at least that's what the film's like. He thought Patrick was going to peel more to the back of the end zone. He kind of stopped. But, yeah, those guys, MVS has had enough time to take over lead dogs, and he just hasn't done it. And Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney, those guys are like
gadget.
It's almost like they're having to manufacture catches for those guys. It's like they're quick little dump outs to the flat or little bubble screens or little hitches. You know what I'm saying? Like those guys they're not running or getting open downfield. And then Sky Moore had the play where they dump it off to him out in the flat, and it looked like the freaking Super Bowl touchdown almost that he had. And he runs into the one defender
into the one defender
by the guy. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, well, I can't believe there's fans that hate on and root for guys on the Chiefs to fail." I'm not rooting for these guys to fail, but at some point, you've had your turn and you haven't taken the reins, and so now let somebody else take the reins. And I know I'm saying that, and I've been critical of Rice and Ross, and those guys have drop issues. I'm not going to blame Rust on the drops for Ross. If you're an NFL receiver, you should be able to come right off the bench and catch the ball. You might not be the best at knowing the plays, and your route running might not be the crispest and whatever, but catching the ball is fundamental.
I think you alluded to it though. I just don't know if these guys have the route tree in their repertoire. They probably do. I don't know. Maybe I'm just making an ignorant statement, but I think that's why you're seeing the play design the way it is, right? These dump passes or mock jet sweeps with a little pitch or something like that. Just because these guys don't have the separation ability on their route running, so they have to, like you said, manufacture catches for them to help them look better. But I don't know, man. I'm a big believer in momentum. You get one or two of those plays to just kick off, and all of a sudden those guys are making one-handed catches and, just trying that extra little bit harder, making diving plays and stuff like that. So, yeah, who knows? I kind of think it's half and half the coaches, half the players, but
So encouraging signs from the wide receivers. Justin Ross, the guy's got hands. I probably jinxed him because I put out on the Chiefs Kingdom Live X when he made that nice jumping catch, leaping grab. I said, now there's a man with hands, and then he promptly dropped 2 passes after that. So
jinxed him.
I'm going to take a little bit of the blame. I'm going to take a little bit of the blame there.
That's all you, man.
But the other big story, receivers, guys stepping up, making big plays, making big catches, making nice catches. Travis Kelce, we got to talk about the play where he goes down with no contact, and just the way that looked, and with the way you see guys like Aaron Rodgers and some of these guys.
Dude, that's exactly what I thought. That's exactly what I thought.
How far down in the old body did the heart sink when you guys saw Travis go down? And even his body language, the way he kind of sat there and kind of shook his head, you were just thinking, oh, shit, this ain't good. This ain't good. This ain't good. Of course, was over and Travis Kelce is popular with the young ladies now, and the younger lady that was watching the game with us was like, "Oh no, that's not Kelce being hurt, is it?" There was the only dude she knew on the whole team.
You guys see?
Yeah, it's.
Did you guys see?
I got a bunch
Henry
of
Winkler's
questions.
granddaughter.
What's that?
Henry Winkler posted a picture of his granddaughter wearing a shirt. It's like biggest fan of Travis or Taylor Swift's boyfriend's team or whatever.
Right.
So silly.
Oh God.
But yeah, so he goes down. Nick, I mean, how far did the heart sink when you saw that?
Oh yeah, no, I instantly was like, oh my God, that's his Achilles. I've seen it happen many times not just to Aaron Rodgers, but to Chiefs players, right? We saw Super DJ, right? Derek Johnson. He went down with one. I mean, I can't remember off the top of my head the other players, but we had this like freak string of people that tore their Achilles, and it's all the same thing where they get it, the ball, and they're in open space, and they just kind of either sit down or whatever, or after a play they sit down, and that's immediately what I thought. And then I immediately started to feel a little bit better because I saw him walking off the field, and I was like, well, if he had tore his Achilles, he wouldn't be walking and jogging like that, right? He may be able to get off, but Big Doug can tell you that walking's pretty difficult when you tear your Achilles tendon.
It's not fun.
It's like the whole stability of your legs. So your legs kind of like jello when you're trying to walk on it, and it's really hard to walk down the street to that next bar. But yeah, so that was my immediate thought. And then,
R.I.P. to Diamond Joe.
So, and then you see him on the sideline, and he looks pissed off, and then he's going into the locker room. But then but I was like, I mean, here's the deal: like, he's hurt. They're probably going to try to get him rest as much as possible for halftime, get some X-rays in. So I don't know. When I saw him start to walk / jog off the field, I immediately felt a little bit better, if not, fully confident. So
my heart completely sank, man. Like I didn't think Achilles. I thought it was his knee. Just because it was a non-contact thing and the way he turned and tried to take off upfield, I was just like, oh no, he twisted his knee. He tried to run upfield and just had something go completely wrong. And so that's what I immediately thought. And then I was with Nick when I saw him kind of like run off the field. It looked like he was in pain. And then like I started like having flashbacks to Aaron Rodgers, just like, oh no, what if like he just like strained his calf or his Achilles, like we're seeing all these players do on these turf fields, man. Like, oh, not a fan of these turf fields now. I don't know why they're still such a heavy favorite amongst owners. Probably the cost, but no, it was awesome to see him, finally make a return and try to get on the field, sneak on, and the coach is having to like pull him back. Like, no, man, not yet. Your results aren't back. Let's get you out a couple of plays. I know you want to get back in there, but came back in, had a hell of a game, man. Like tore it up. So good to see that.
Yep. I just instantly, I think I put my head
Yeah.
down in my hands and was like, oh no, that's not good. That's not good.
Go
That's not
on.
good. But yeah, he goes in. Jim Nance had a great call too on the game-winning touchdown by Travis Kelce. He says he comes off the X-ray table and finds the end zone. And I don't like to give too much credit to Jim Nance. He irritates the hell out of me. But that was a great call. Travis Kelce, the baller. Dylan's got a question here. Want to know what we think about wide receiver production? Have anything to do with Kelce's lack of production? That's a really good question. To me, it would seem like if Kelce didn't have as much production, that would be because the wide receivers were having more production. There was more guys getting the ball. Patrick's definitely spreading it around. Kelce, I don't know how. I don't know what his percentage is right now, right? I mean, is he playing at 60%, 70%? He had 10 catches for 70 yards and a touchdown. So, I mean, he's been still pretty hot. He hasn't had one of these 3 or 4 touchdown games or one of these games where he goes out and has 6 or 8 catches for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns, but he's still been solid. What do you guys think about Travis Kelce and his effect on the wide receiver room, Nick?
Well, he definitely draws coverage away from those other guys, right? So if he's in the game and he's playing well, then it makes it easier for everybody. So I wonder if that's what you're trying to get at, Dylan. If so, then yeah, potentially, right? I don't know what the exact reason is. I don't know if it's, I didn't verify the stat, but I saw that the Chiefs don't have a single pass catcher that's in like the top 50 in the NFL in yards.
I don't know that we have a receiver over 200 yards at this point right now. It's like 170 or something like that.
So, you know, it's definitely weird, but we're also cycling guys out, right? Well, like we're talking about, and it's almost like they're trying to figure out who are going to be the dudes that are going to take advantage of these opportunities early in the season, so that then when they start coming up on these other games, they can really start, you know, focusing on those guys and game planning for those guys. So I don't know, man, but it would be difficult, right? Like you see Ross get a big catch and I'm like, dude, see, that's the guy that we've been talking about right there. And I'm like literally telling my wife that. And then it's like, well, now he's on the sideline. It's like, you know, can you get a rhythm as a receiver with your quarterback when you get a big catch and you're amped up and they're like, all right, well, now go sit on the sideline. You know, we're going to hand the ball off to CEH or whatever.
1st and 10 up the middle.
Right. So I don't know. It's an interesting thought that if he's, you know, not drawing double coverage, I haven't watched, you know, the all 22 to see if people are shaking Kelce, but if he's not getting the double teams, maybe that's what's impacting the other guys.
Yeah, and then he had that fluke injury right at the start of the season, hyperextending his knee, and so like I just don't think we've seen 100% Kelce. And I think defenses also know that. I think they know that they can ease up a little bit and not have to throw that double team on him as much. But I mean, dude, he's still wrecked shop. Like he's scored a touchdown, I think, in every game he's played, right? Or he might have missed one, but still productive as fuck. And I think the new offense that we are seeing is like, I don't know if we're gonna get a clear number WR1 until we draft that guy or until we trade for that guy. Because I mean, Travis Kelce is that guy. And I think the spread it around mentality is working just fine. We're 4-1. I mean, it's not as lethal or as sharp as we as fans would like it to be, but it's tallying up wins with like a very, very young receiving core. And to get back to the whole Travis Kelce receiving thing, like, yeah, I think that has a little bit of effect, him being injured. Defense is knowing that, but I mean, he rolls his ankle, comes back in, catches the ball 10 times. Defenses are going to know that. I think that's just it's bound to happen later in the year where the defenses start sucking in on him, and you'll see Jay Watt or one of these guys just open completely up. I'm with Brenda. I want to see Jay Watt get a big touchdown on one of these plays too.
Yeah. I mean, what's to say about Travis Kelce that we're talking about him, and he's going out there every week getting 6, 7, 8, 9 catches for 60, 70 yards and a touchdown. And we're saying, man, he's kind of dropped off here and his production's been down. Is that affecting receivers? Like, that's a damn good game for a lot of receivers, you know? So.
Oh, he's not the top 5 receiver in the NFL this year? Oh man.
Yeah, no, he's good. He missed the first game of the year too. So, But yeah, that's definitely an interesting. I'd think about that a little bit more and kind of watch and see what happens with the other receivers as Kelsey maybe gets healthier or gets more into form and kind of looks like an old self when he starts having some of these monster games. So the defense, we'll talk about them for a minute here. They played pretty well. The penalties are really what killed them
Completely.
in this game. I mean, you look at what they did to Justin Jefferson. I know Jefferson went out hurt there in the fourth quarter, but they had him pretty well in check. Alexander Madison, I know he scored a touchdown, but they held him to, I want to say, he had like 40 or 50 yards rushing in the game. Did a good job bottling him up. TJ Hawkinson, who's a top 2, 3, 4 tight end in the
Easily.
NFL.
Yeah.
He had a quiet day. He didn't really hear his name called a lot. They got pressure on Cousins. Nick, what stood out? Who did you notice, or what part of the defense do you think played the best?
Yeah, I want to give credit to the corners, really. Snead.
Yeah, 100.
McDuffie. That's a formidable opponent to try to lock down. I mean, somebody said it earlier that, that Justin Jefferson's only 22 or whatever, and he has more receiving yards than any receiver in Chicago Bears history of 100 years for his career. So, I mean, that's a guy that is a top tier, right?
Stat and a half.
I mean, if you could pick one person from the NFC to come join the Chiefs, I mean, he'd be on the short list, if not the main guy, right? So I want to give credit to Snead and to McDuffie. Those guys are really playing at a high level, and they're a big reason that the defense hasn't given up, more than 20 points.
Yeah,
21 points.
21 points. 20 points.
21 points is the most they've given up this year. Defense.
Yeah.
They're the only team in the league, I think. So, so kudos to them, man. We've been missing that. Our secondary has been shaky for the past several years. You can get burned on these big pass plays, and it's really demoralizing to the offense, right? And so now we've got, we've got that part of the field just kind of locked down. I mean, it doesn't mean they won't get beat, but it means that game in and game out, you feel comfortable with the guys that are back there, regardless of who they have to cover.
Yeah. Dude, and when you get a team that has Justin Jefferson, Hawkinson, and who's the other guy? Osborne, KJ Osborne. When you get those guys locked down, you're doing something right, man. And you're making the Vikings revert to dink and dunk football. I mean, that I feel like as a defense is super easy to clean up. Like, you just got to watch the guy coming out of the back that was blocking. And then that's a whole different game right there. Like, they don't get a ton of their conversions that they got on 3rd and long, because that's all they did, man. They sent guys out, and they have a hell of a receiving core, and they distracted all of our guys long enough to send their running backs out and just play dink and dunk on us, and it worked. But again, that's super easy. But I just want to tip my hat to Leo Chenal, man. We were kind of talking about him a little bit, and I feel like he's stepping up to the plate, turning that corner. Saw him get a sack and a ton of pressures. I think he batted or maybe tipped a ball. I couldn't really tell if he tipped it, but dude, hats off to that guy. He's playing his heart out, and it's super noticeable. Him and Mike Dana, Mike Dana. Those guys are just two guys I'm really noticing a lot more than I have in the past.
Yep. Brenda's saying, go get JJ. There's no way the Vikings are letting JJ go anywhere, I don't think. And on top of that, I mean, he's going to want Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams payday. And the Chiefs have shown they're not willing to pay that. So I don't really think that he would be an option. I'm going to go back to the guy I talked to at the beginning of the show, Drew Tranquil, man. That guy played great. Played freaking great. Come in off the bench. He's a guy that he's an established player in the league, and he comes in here on a 1-year deal, and he's the backup now, right? And that dude didn't complain. The guy hadn't done nothing, and when it was his turn to step up, that dude has stepped up and came out and played awesome. So we've been talking about this all year. The Chiefs, they have impact makers, Pro Bowlers, All Pros, whatever you want to call them, at every level of the defense.
Yeah, completely.
You look at the defensive line. Mike Dana's been playing damn good. I don't know if he's an All-Pro or Pro Bowl level player right now, but he's having a really, really good year. Karlaftis, I'd like to see get some more sacks, turn some of these pressures into sacks, but pressuring the quarterback.
We're starting to double team them though, man.
Yeah,
So
pressuring the quarterback is still good. That's the one thing you always see. Quarterbacks don't like is they don't like pressure. They like to stand in the pocket and they like to be comfortable. Even if you don't get them on the ground, if you can force the throw early or if you can get them off the mark, it affects their accuracy. So those guys on the defensive line, Chris Jones, don't even need to talk about how badass of a guy that been. He's on another one of these streaks here where
Right.
sack a game.
he's had like seven straight games of the sack. And, oh, by the way, he's got the NFL record for, 10 or 11 straight games with a sack already on his resume. You look at the linebacking, Nick Bolton is a guy that does not get enough respect. And you look at the number of tackles that he's had and tackles for loss and pressures. And then the corners, L'Jarius Sneed and Trent McDuffie are studs. Those guys, they're right up there in the conversation of the best cornerback duos in the NFL. Dude, L'Jarius Sneed, you can throw that guy in the slot. You can put him out wide on Justin Jefferson. You can do anything.
He's so fast, dude. He's so fast.
Yeah, he's fast. He's physical. He got that penalty against Justin Jefferson for the hands to the face, I want to say it was there early in the game. And someone made a great point on X. They said that was a message sender. It's going to be a long day, and I'm going to be up in your grill, and this ain't going to go the way you want it to and the way you think it's going to go. And he locked him down.
It was.
He locked him down. So
message received.
Defense, message received. Dude, defense is got playmakers, all three levels playing well. We'll get to the poll. Nick, you mentioned before we kind of start moving on talking about the Broncos. Well, we can kind of talk about the second half a little bit here and see what we thought about the end of the game. But before we move on, the poll this week, CKL poll, the Chiefs now, the Lions scored 21 against the Chiefs and the Jets also scored 20, but those were off of, there was a pick six in the Lions game and a safety in the Jets game. So 20 points given up by the defense was the highest, most points allowed this year by the Chiefs defense in one single game. What do we think the highest is going to be? If you want to head on over to our X account at Chiefs Kingdom Live, poll's still going. You can vote in on it. Like to see what the chat has to say here, where they're weighing in. Fellas, just go top to bottom here. Nick, where are you thinking the Chiefs end up here? Most points per game. They play the Bills, they play the Bengals, they play the Dolphins. They play some explosive offenses coming up here this, last half, 2/3 of the season.
I went 31-35. Look, you can have great defenses. We saw it with the Eagles in the Super Bowl. They gave up 38. The Bills had the number one defense in the league, came into Arrowhead divisional round, 13-second game, gave up over 40. It doesn't matter how good your defense is sometimes. Just the rules are bent so much towards offense, and there just kind of becomes this Big 12 type deal where you get into a shootout and everybody's kind of running in a 2-minute offense mode. And, all it takes is a couple of penalties here or there that get called. And all of a sudden a team's, putting up 4 or 5 touchdowns on you. So I think that they'll have a game where they'll probably give up over 31 points this year. And it's not a detraction, man. I said it earlier in the year, right? Before it started, I said, we're probably not going to even see how good this defense is until 6 or 7 games in. And I was flat out wrong. Never been happier to be wrong, to be honest. But that's kind of where my head's at with it.
I think I was a little bit more hopeful. I think I went 26-30, but still, I still feel like that's pretty realistic, thinking that a team can score 4 times on you. Something's got to give. There's so much tape. There's so much analytics, and these coaches just immediately study the Chiefs. Every coach in the NFL is studying the Chiefs and how to beat them. You're going to have to play them at some point, and so everybody has our game tape. It's just going to happen. And to Nick's point, it's a great point. It's such an offensive-driven game that I think it's kind of unrealistic to think that you're going to hold every team, especially with the caliber that you pointed out, Scott, in Miami, in Buffalo, that they bring to the table, that you're just going to hold them to 3 touchdowns. It'd be really nice. It'd be really, really nice, but just a little bit more on the realistic side. But yeah, I could see a game where they break 30, but I voted 26-30 just to be a little bit more hopeful, and that they just continue this trend and just being one of the defenses that wreck shop and get talked about as being a formidable defense to go about. And one thing I just want to point out, I just had this weird thought when we were talking about this. How good is it that our defense actually tackles now? I remember like 10 years ago, there was like this spree where it's just like, guys, just make the tackle and your life's so much easier. Oh, 5-6 guys around you. You still didn't make the tackle. So it's just it's so nice to and refreshing to see this defense actually doing their job. And but yeah, Scotty, what are you thinking?
I mean, the Dolphins offense, they can be held in check. I mean, the Broncos held them to 70 points. So I don't think that the Chiefs I don't think the Chiefs holding them to 30 is too much to ask here, is it? Yeah. I'm going 26-30. I'm going 26-30. I'm just going to say that, they're going to give up 30 to somebody, but 30-31 is a fine line there because what is that? 31's 4 touchdowns and a field goal. So I'm gonna lean on the optimistic and go with the majority here. But Chiefs defense has been playing good. It's not like they've been playing slouches either. And I made a joke about the Broncos holding the Dolphins to 70, but the Bills, they got held in check. The Jets defense kind of held the Bills down, and the Bills, they just lost to the Jags and they scored 22, 23. I mean, it can be done, especially if you can, especially if you can cover, if you can throw McDuffie on Stephon Diggs and that defensive line can put some pressure on Allen and make him run. They don't really have all that great of a run game again this year. So the Dolphins, they're a little scary with their speed. At 18, I don't know. Scary. He'll be back by time the Chiefs play the Dolphins here in a few weeks. Have to see how long he's out. But they got Mostert. They got the Cheetah. I don't recommend the Chiefs, even with Trent McDuffie and L'Jarius Sneed playing single coverage man-to-man on Tyreek Hill. I
don't see that happening.
That guy the whole game. But so those are offenses that can be that can be explosive. But there's also other teams with good defenses that have held them down in that 20-ish, that 30 or below range. So it can be done. I think the Chiefs have the pieces to do it. We just talked about, I just listed all these players on the defense that are just studs. That's almost like the whole defense. I didn't even talk about Brian Cook. He's been great at safety.
Excellent
plays. This Chiefs defense is good. So
he recovered that fumble on the first play.
Right. Yeah, he recovered the fumble. He had the nice play against the Jets where he tackled Breece Hall in the open field on that long run. That ended up being a huge play in the game. So, I think that I think that 30 or less, 30 or fewer is realistic.
Sure.
And maybe they give up 31 or 33 or 34 or something. I don't see this defense giving up 40 to anybody, though. You know what? I don't see them giving up 38, 40, 45 points. Kind of like in years past where we've seen some of these games where the defense gets lit up like a Christmas tree. So appreciate everybody who voted in the poll. Like I said, if you're following us on X or if you're not following us yet, you can go over and follow us. So you still vote in the poll. It's going to go through to the end of the week. Final thoughts about the Vikings game, anything that we didn't get to from the second half that stood out to you guys? Were you nervous there at the end? Did you think the Vikings were going to come back and tie it? Nick?
I mean, I was nervous, right? But I'm always nervous when the Chiefs have only a 2-score lead in the
game. Exactly.
I have too much muscle memory there of us blowing it. So no, I mean, I don't really. Do we want to talk about referees at all?
No.
We're not going to talk about referees. All right. No, I got nothing to say.
It's 10-3 on penalties. No, man, just the fact that we were giving up so many field goals, right? I mean, I know we kind of talked about it as more alluding more to all the drops that we had, but man, I just like to see us give up or stop getting field goals and start getting touchdowns, man. And I feel like that's kind of where we didn't step on their throats a lot. I don't know if it was the play calling, which I'm kind of suspect that it is. Just halfback draws and little flat screens. I know they work when they work, but if you run them 30 times in a game, defense is going to start looking for them. And so that was kind of my takeaway. I wasn't exactly nervous, not as much as I was during the Jets game. Surprisingly, I was just like, okay, we're good. I didn't have to go like, whew, okay, game's over. I can breathe now. This game it was just more like Nick was saying, just PTSD from years past. Being there's still a shot, there's still a mathematical chance that these guys are in it. But yeah, I mean, again, I think the mistakes by the offense are easily fixable, and we will see those field goals turn into touchdowns on the latter end of the season.
Yeah, they definitely need to convert, especially when you get down the red zone. Harrison Butker, hats off to that guy this year. He's come back after a tumultuous season last year. Part of that was obviously looking like now the injury he suffered week 1 probably lingered throughout the year, caused him some struggles. But
yeah,
dude's been nails. He's been perfect
he was on
this
point.
year. Chiefs were up, 27-13 most of that second half. They did pull within 27-20, but I never really felt like the Vikings were going to go down there. And even if they did tie it, I just think Patrick's going to have the ball last. It was looking like anyway.
Right? Yeah, that's how I felt too.
Yeah, so good solid win. Before we move on to the Broncos game, Kirk Cousins taking a sack there at the end of the game. That's like the most Kirk Cousins thing ever. Like, dude, throw it up.
Throw it.
Chuck it
Throw
up.
it. Just throw it to anybody.
Mary, bro.
An interception doesn't matter.
He was at the 40-something yard line. I mean, Kirk Cousins' arms got to be strong enough still at this point in his career where he can throw a 45-yard bomb to the end zone.
You would hope, right? You would hope, right? Being a starter. Yeah.
You take a sack right there. I hope our friend Race Car's not listening right now, but I just started laughing. I was just thinking, dude, that's the most Kirk Cousins shit I ever. You know what it reminded me, Nick? Nick, it reminded me of the game we went to a few years ago at Arrowhead where he slid short of the first down marker.
Yeah.
And he could have got the first down. I mean, you could at least try the Hail Mary. You know what's not going to win the game? Getting sacked.
Yeah.
That's the only.
Were you worried about
take off and try and scramble and lateral it or chuck it deep? Like you might a 1% chance is better than a 0% chance.
That in the management of the Vikings timeouts by their head coach was just
garbage,
mind blowing to me.
Right, they were out of timeouts in the third quarter.
Dude,
yeah. And fourth down, and you've got to score a touchdown, and you have a delay a game. It was just very There's something not right with their time management there, and I don't know who it's on, but
just following the script.
Just following this. Yeah, the same thing at the end of the game with them and the Chargers too, right? They had the ball and they couldn't get the play in. They couldn't get the play in. Wasted a bunch of time, and then Kirk Cousins throws a pick. Yeah, so
snap the ball here. It's the end of the game. You don't have timeouts. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, I was sitting there thinking, man, that used to be like what people thought Andy Reid would do, right?
Yeah, that's what he did for a long time.
Yeah, that's what he did it for a long time.
He still does occasionally. He still does occasionally. So let's get on. It's been an hour. We haven't talked about the Broncos game yet. Chiefs play the Broncos on Thursday Night Football tomorrow. How are we feeling about this game, Bo?
I would like to feel more confident about this game, but just watching what we've been doing to some of these weaker teams, I mean, it's any given Sunday for me at any point. I know it's always you're going up against a professional team, and there's an outcome that you can face regardless of team statute or status in the league. But that said, the Broncos, though, they just look pitiful. I asked you, I think last week from my truck, Scott, like, do we see Russell Wilson play against the Chiefs? At this point, do you just keep repeating this nonsense if you're Sean Payton and you're just like, yeah, we're going to keep starting Russ and keep watching this fall apart?
He hasn't been the problem really on the Broncos this year, though. It's been their defense has been terrible. They're like 28th, 30th, 32nd in the league in almost every key statistic. I saw somebody put on X too, where they took out the 70-point game against the Dolphins, and they still their best ranking was 27th in the NFL and points given up, yards given. It's their defense that's completely gone to hell. You look at Russell Wilson; he's quietly having a decent year, actually, surprisingly. But yeah, no, they look bad though. I mean, they're not playing complimentary. When the offense is playing good, the defense is playing like shit. When the defense gets some stops, Russell Wilson and the offense have drops and they have fumbles. They don't have playmakers. Nick, how you feel about this Broncos game? You feeling pretty good?
I feel like we definitely should be able to to win and win handily. It's just, are we going to, right? And that's the thing with the Chiefs. I brought it up earlier. These are the games that last year we struggled with the, and I don't know what it is. Is it when you've been in the AFC Championship and you played in Super Bowls, playing the 1-4 Broncos, maybe, not like the most exciting thing. Maybe it's hard to maintain your focus as a player. I don't know exactly what it is. But these are the games that typically we struggle with. But if you talk to Broncos fans, they have no confidence at all that they're going to be able to do it.
Yeah, that's the truth.
It made me
right?
feel a little better when people online were like, "Oh man, no, you guys are
Bronco fans that are still talking about the team.
You have no idea how bad our defense is." So, yeah, I think if the Chiefs take this game seriously, then it's going to be like the Bears game, right? I mean,
Should be.
Are the Broncos worse than the Bears? I mean, I know they beat the Bears, but Scotty,
this close to losing to the Bears. They were getting blown out by the Bears in that game. They were getting smoked by the Bears.
Yeah.
And then they came back and pulled it out of the fire somehow. I think they're both about equally as bad. I think Russell Wilson maybe is a little bit better than Justin Fields, so I might say the Broncos are a smidge, but I don't know. Both defenses are terrible. Justin Fields and Russell Wilson at this point in their career, at this point in Russell Wilson's career, are closer than you probably think. The Bears, their best wide receiver, DJ Moore, he's better than – who's the Broncos' best receiver? Jerry Jeudy?
Yeah. By a long shot.
Khalil Herbert's comparable to the running back for the Broncos, whose name is escaping me right now. God damn, can't think of the guy's name. Anyway, those two teams are pretty close to one another. Divisional matchup, those games do get weird. So you talk about the games being close last year. The one game in Denver, we were up, 24-0 at one point, or 27-0?
27-0, yeah.
And then we let them sneak back in because Patrick had some of the worst interceptions you've ever seen. They had one miraculous interception by Surtain there where he scooped it off, like somehow got his hands underneath the ball on a crazy play. But, I'm feeling real good about this game. The Broncos are in a tailspin. They can't have any confidence right now. Their defense is atrocious. Their offense is anemic with guys. I mean, Jerry Jeudy, that's the only receiver I can even name on their team right now. Tim Patrick's out for the season with an injury. They're getting Javonte Williams back at running back.
Guy Brandon Johnson, he made a little noise the first couple games, but he's been quiet ever since. Yeah, they're not too deep on their receiving core there.
Right.
I'm sick of losing
to
the Chiefs.
What do we think? What do we think the key is for the Chiefs in this game? What do you think the Chiefs try to do? What do you think is most important? You think they try to pound the run game with Pacheco? Think they air it out? Denver's secondary and their pass defense is terrible. Patrick Mahomes, I think I saw in Sleeper on my fantasy team this week, he's projected to score like 29 points. Nick, how do you see this game going?
Yeah, I think that we just need to limit Russell Wilson scrambling and, contain their receivers. And if we can do that and we can, force him into some sacks, he gets sacked a lot. I think he's averaging 3 sacks a game. But I think, last week he averaged 7 yards a carry too, when he scrambled. So, I mean, he still has the legs if you don't watch him. The Chiefs have done well against quarterbacks that can scramble. I mean, Justin Fields was essentially a non-factor scrambling against us. So I think that if we can do that, I mean, I'm not really that concerned that their defense is going to bring much to the table that the Chiefs aren't going to be able to handle. I could be wrong, but like you said, I mean, they did hold the Dolphins to 70. So who's their coordinator? Is it Vance Joseph?
I don't even know. It doesn't matter, does it?
Right.
I'm just laughing because our man Travis is back. Supply chain, these nuts is back.
Oh yeah.
Congratulations
Oh,
on your Astros
Let's go.
clinching their 7th straight ALCS. It's a good thing for the Astros. The Royals decided to start sucking and stop making the postseason, though. That's all I'm going to say about that because Royals own the Astros there in the postseason for a couple of years. But I digress. Congratulations, Travis.
Yeah, always cool to watch a team win.
I haven't watched any postseason baseball, to be honest with you.
Hey, supply chain. I don't think I clicked the Twitch thing this week. I set it up.
Yeah, I normally set that all up, and I didn't do shit this week.
It's all good. It's all good. We're doing good. So, back to the Broncos Chiefs game. Bo, what do you think we see out of the Chiefs? They score a lot of points. Do you think they air it out? You think they ground and pound? You think they try to get a mix? I mean, you think the Broncos put up much of a fight? What do you think you see out of this game?
No, I mean, yeah, I think we're trying to establish a run game with Pacheco. You're seeing him get the workload, definitely compared to the other couple guys on the bench. But no, I think the key is like what Nick said. Just spying Russell Wilson offensively is going to do wonders. But for our offense, I kind of alluded to it earlier. If we can just sharpen up all the miscues and the mistakes and the drops, and really convert when you're in the red zone instead of having field goals, I think that's going to just do wonders for us, man. Just fixing those little mistakes that turn those 3 points into 7 is going to go a long way in this game. It's what we did the Bears. We just stepped on their throats and just annihilated them. We didn't really ease off. We were kind of doing that to the Jets, but then just got too comfortable. So I mean, as long as we don't give them hope, give them a chance, let them mathematically stick in there, and just polish up the simple stuff. I don't think we have like any kind of like crazy game plan. We need to go out and we're not playing 4D chess here against the Broncos. Just play simple, clean football. Let's just get consistent. Like, think of it as a good way to get some practice in if the players are watching here. So yeah, just sharpen up the offense. I think that'll do wonders. What about you, man? What do you think the keys are here to defeating the Broncos?
Yeah, Bo, you just said it. Playing clean football. Don't turn the ball over. Don't do dumb things. Don't get safeties. Be smart with the penalties. The Broncos, to me, are like these teams like the Jets and some of these other lower-level teams. Like, if you give them that hope and you let them hang around, then it becomes a game, right? I mean, you saw – it was a perfect example of the game I was talking about last year where the Chiefs got 24-0. You have some turnovers and a 3-and-out. Next thing you know, it's 24-21 or 27-21, and now you've got a game.
Yeah.
And their confidence is up. So, yeah, that's the key to me. This is all about the Chiefs in this game. If they come out and they play their A game and they play clean, they're going to win this game by multiple touchdowns. The Broncos are bad. They are a bad football team, as their record would indicate. They're a Justin Fields fumble return for a touchdown away from being 0-5 at this point. So, yeah, this needs to be an easy win. This needs to look like that Bears game, and I think it looks like it too. I think the Chiefs they're going to come out, and I think they're going to air the ball out. Although I will say, I swear to God, if Pacheco is out there grinding and getting yards and crushing, and then I see fucking CEH in there and his 1 yard per carry, dude, I'm going to lose my shit, man. Like, how much longer is it going to go on? We saw it against the Vikings.
Trying to give them a highlight reel to get rid of them, man. That's how you got to think of it. They're just giving them game tape time.
I mean, I used to say CH stood for can't elude hand tackles, but I mean that dude's nickname should be second and long. He's so bad.
The drive killer.
The drive killer, man. The dude is a momentum killer, drive killer, whatever you want to call him.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he's like the wooden stake in the heart of the momentum of a game and a drive. Just you hand the ball to him on first down, it's going to be 2nd and 9. 2nd and 8.
It's fascinating that they're doing that, and they're not really handing it to McKinnon. And every time he gets the ball, he seems to be getting like a short dump pass, right?
Right. Yep. So I think the Chiefs, they want to score points too. I think that offense and Patrick Mahomes, they're thirsty right now. So I think you see them try to take advantage and exploit a bad Broncos pass defense and secondary, and get a good solid lead built up, and then you see a healthy dose of Pacheco in the second half, and McKinnon, and wear them down. The only way I see the Broncos even staying close is, again, I said if they win the turnover battle again like they did last year, 3-0 or whatever that game was, 3 or 4 turnovers to Chiefs 0 or 1 turnover. So predictions, score predictions. You guys want to do a prediction on this game? Nick?
Let's do it.
See those score predictions in the chat too.
What's the betting line, dude? I haven't been online at all.
Can the Chiefs win?
I think I saw it was like 9.5, 10,
Yeah,
something like that. 10.
Yeah.
Oh, 10.5 now.
Yeah, I think they cover that. Although the Chiefs in covering has not been a wise bet the last going back to last year.
Years. Yeah, a couple
Right,
years.
going
man.
back to last season, but this Broncos suck. I mean, they are. They're worse than the Raiders, which is bad. Nikki, you got a score prediction?
36-14.
Ooh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Let's go 34-20. We're going to just do another 20 bomb on there. And it's going to be the easiest math to predict the average points per game the defense lets.
Right. I think Chiefs win
44-20. John C. There we go. That's what I like to see.
Yeah, John C., our man out there in Broncos country. That might be a little wishful thinking on his part, too, so he can rub it in some Broncos fans.
I like it.
Out there.
I'm hopeful, too.
I'm going 40-16 Chiefs.
Ooh,
Laughing.
just as hopeful. Right there on the John C. train.
These Thursday night games are usually laughers, too, right? I mean, Broncos are traveling on a short week. They're terrible. The Chiefs are playing good. The Chiefs are healthy. The stars are aligned for 16th straight win over the Broncos. We did this last year when we were talking about the Broncos thing. I feel like KC Sports Network kind of stole our thunder a little bit. I mean, I don't think they actually stole it from us, but they put out a post today that was like things that didn't exist the last time the Broncos beat the Chiefs, and it was, Disney Plus and Amazon Prime Video. The game's on Amazon Prime, and Amazon Prime didn't even exist the last time the Broncos beat the Chiefs.
Damn.
I'm sick of losing to the Chiefs.
Travis is in here, 41-23. Everybody's feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Brenda,
I like it. I might have
24-13.
to redo my prediction there.
Brenda's,
Saying 34-20.
Brenda's got a little bit closer than we think. Everything's in the Chiefs' favor, man. They're at home. Like I said, the Broncos are playing on the road, short week. They suck. They got no confidence.
Brenda's with
In case you
Vegas,
can't tell,
right on that.
In case you can't tell, I thoroughly enjoy saying the Broncos suck.
Yeah.
Figure that out by now.
Well,
Who
so
doesn't?
I think it was Matt Verderame. He said something like the Chiefs' defense biggest strength is they don't have any weaknesses. And I think like you could say about the Broncos that their biggest weakness is they don't have any strengths on defense.
Right, exactly.
Great point.
Except for Patrick Surtain. He's pretty good. But other than that,
Is he really good?
I don't know. He's on a defense that gave up 70
When you
points.
look at the rest of their team, yeah, he's really good compared to the rest of the team. Maybe not the NFL, but the rest of the Broncos team for sure.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I think this is going to be an easy win for the Chiefs out at Arrowhead tomorrow night, Thursday Night Football. Looking forward to watching the game. We want to talk some fantasy football here real quick, Bo. How's your team looking? If anybody in the chat's got a question about a starter or sit, or I've got a couple players here to be maybe picking up in your league if you're needing some help. How you looking, Bo?
I cannot catch a break, dude. So Jamar Chase finally opens up, has himself a game, but the person I'm playing against has DJ Moore, who had himself an even better game by just that many points. And that ultimately was the decider, right? Like, it was like the rest of our players just kind of had a dog shit week, but like those two guys lit it up, and man, it was a close game. But I finally sat Trevor Lawrence too. Had to do that. I went with CJ Stroud in Houston and didn't quite perform. I mean, like they're pretty even, but I had to make some changes, man. I'm just not winning. I just keep losing to some one-offs like an A-chain running back or like just these guys going off, DJ Moore and stuff. Just
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill when he had 3 touchdowns and 300 yards.
Yeah, I had the misfortune of playing against Stephon Diggs last week in one of my leagues, so I feel your pain. It happens.
Yeah.
I did go 2-0 last week though, so and I had Saquon in the lineup and didn't realize that he got ruled out like last minute or right the morning of the game or whatever. So I got a goose egg for old Saquon in the flex spot. Still won that league that week. Some players to watch right now. John, I can't think of the guy's name, but isn't that the soundbite Bo keeps dropping in here? Isn't that the guy?
Yeah,
who's not crying?
it's one of their O linemen. I'm not sure which one.
Quinn Miners.
But yeah.
Yeah, Nick's got it. What was his name, Nick?
Quinn Miners. It's in the chat.
Quinn Miners. Yep, there you go. Yeah, right now in fantasy, I mean, if you're looking, it's hard at this point in the season because you've kind of got your early season injuries and you've got your kind of no-name guys that have jumped up and played well in the first few weeks have already been snatched up. But if you're looking for tight end help, and if you got a guy that's been underperforming like me, and you got Tyler Higbee and he's not playing good, or you got some of these other guys like Kyle Pitts maybe, although Kyle Pitts had finally had a good game this last week. A guy that's available in most leagues you could probably go pick up still, Luke Musgrave on the Green Bay Packers. I like him. I went and scooped him up, and he's on a bye week this week, so that kind of helps your chances of going and getting him because waivers have already cleared. So, but yeah, I'm looking good. I'm 4-1 in one league and 3-2 in another league. I'm in the playoffs, and I'm in the top points scored in the other league. I'm 3-2 in, right up there. I won't say I'm third highest scoring team, but had the unfortunate, like I said, in that league of playing some guys that had like the best week of the year. So,
1-4 in both. So I mean, shit. I don't even know, man. I don't even know. I don't even
You're
know why I
looking
play
at-
this. Feels like I'm playing the lottery, just hoping for numbers.
yeah, that's brutal. That's rough. I totally
So
ripped this
fantasy
dude off.
football, I have it on the Chiron down here. Do what Scott's doing, not what Bo's doing.
Right.
He knows what he's doing this year.
Right. I totally ripped this dude off in
man.
I totally ripped this dude off in our dynasty league. I traded him. I traded him Trevor Lawrence for Saquon Barkley and a second round pick next year. Thank you very much. So
People went tried to get that A-Chan guy from the Dolphins, and then now he's out for
right,
6 weeks or 8 weeks.
Everybody
or
got
whatever.
him the next week.
right.
Yeah,
And as a
everybody got
guy-
him the next week. He got swooped up so quick.
Oh yeah, that's what I was saying. Most of these guys that have come in and flashed early have already been picked up. So the waiver wire is kind of slim pickings right now. There's also Michael Wilson, the receiver on the Cardinals. If he hasn't been snatched up in your league and you're looking for some wide receiver help, Rashee Rice shouldn't be available, but he's a guy that I snatched up a week or so ago. I think he's getting ready to probably take over as the Chiefs' #1 wide receiver here pretty quick.
Yeah, he's looking like the real deal.
When he catches the ball, he's got to. And hey, made progress. And I'm not rooting against the guy, but you got to catch the ball because the drops on third down are twice as killer as the catches for on first down for 35 yards are helping you out. So, got to make the routine catches. Got to make the stuff. Looks like our man Travis is bouncing out. Good to see you, Travis. Thanks for swinging by, bro. Appreciate it. Good luck to your Astros there.
Astros.
Moving on. I can't believe the ALCS is already getting set, and I haven't watched any postseason baseball. The Royals have just killed baseball for me the last couple of years, man. Just how bad they are, and the games aren't on stations where you can get them. And
Yeah, you gotta sign up for Bally Sports or whatever.
Yeah, I'm not signing up for that shit. Watch them lose 106 games. No, thank you.
Right. You pay money for that.
Right. We talk about this. This is getting off topic. This might be boring for some of the people here, but like the Royals winning and going to those World Series and winning that one was like, I still can't figure out if that's the best thing or the worst thing that ever happened to me as a Royals fan because
Yeah, kind of fucked up going to the Royals for
right, because like they
we were
sucked
always
for
okay
so
with
long.
them sucking,
They sucked for so long. You just expected them to suck, and you were just you'd come to terms with it. You were at grips with it. And you just kind of went to see, maybe you'll see like a great individual performance, or maybe they'll just win a game. You go out and have a good time. And then they got good, and you're like, oh shit, postseason baseball's fun. And then 2 years later, it was over, and they fucking sucked again. And now, like, I can't watch shitty baseball now that I've seen them compete, and I know that they can be good. So, but I digress again. That's getting off topic. Anything else you guys want to talk about, Chiefs related? Anybody in the here in the chat got any questions? Got anything they want to talk about here before we jump out? Nick,
I mean, what would it mean to get 16 wins against the Broncos? Like, have you thought about that? Like, I know we've talked about this for the past couple of years. We've been doing the show, and we did the jokes, and we were kind of, like you said, ahead of the curve on that, maybe by a year, because I heard even Nick Wright saying Obama was president, last time the Chiefs won and stuff. But like, just like 8 years of worth of games where they haven't beat us. I don't know. Have you like really wrapped your head around that?
it's an amazing accomplishment in the NFL to dominate, especially a division opponent.
Well, especially
Like
the
that.
Broncos, right? Like, it's not,
Right.
The Raiders who have sucked. I mean, it's the Broncos were always kind of the team in the AFC West that was like always more of a perennial winner, right? Even when they didn't go to the Super Bowl or they didn't have playoff success, it's like they were never tanking. They've never had the number one overall pick in the draft, right? I don't know. I was thinking about that, and it was just like 8 years, like I saw people posting online that, hey, I was in middle school and now I've graduated and like I'm a paramedic, and people are like, dude, like showing the last time that they lost, and people were like, was that Jamal Charles? And it's like, holy shit, was that Peyton Manning? I mean, he's in the Hall of Fame now. And I
Right.
don't know,
That
it's
was
crazy.
that.
It's been that long.
Yeah, that was that crazy Sunday night or Monday night football game where the Chiefs, they should have won that game too. And
Yeah.
Jamal Charles had the fumble that cost us the game. I mean, it should be at 16 going on 17, really, if you look at it that way.
With like 30 seconds left.
Right. So just some of the games that have happened during that streak too. Like the Monday night left-handed pass game, the snow game at Arrowhead. There's just been some really classic moments. The game where Patrick Mahomes' knee got dislocated and Matt Moore came in and diced up the Broncos.
Right.
Yeah. Just some of the games and some of the moments have happened, and time flies, especially when you're having fun. And it's always fun beating the Broncos, so time's really flying. And
Brandon wants to know how many sacks the Chiefs defense will have tomorrow.
I think they get 3 or 4. I see him swarming Russell Wilson and getting him on the grade. Russell Wilson is not elusive at all at this point in his career.
I'm back.
Bo's back. Just in time for us to bounce out. No, I'm just kidding.
5 sacks.
Later. Go Chiefs.
Go high.
Yeah.
We get 5 sacks against Russell Wilson. He's trying to pass the ball because we were scoring a lot. And, he's trying to make something happen. And
Yeah, I could see it. That could definitely be the case. Bo, how many sacks tomorrow for the Chiefs?
I think we're averaging 3.5, so I'll go with you. 4. 4 is a good number. I see Chris Jones getting 2 of those, man. I can see him opening up as the season progresses here. He's getting his flow. He looked a little kind of out of shape that last game, but I think that turns around this game. He was on the field quite a long time for that. But, let's go 4.
Yeah, I mean, I see Karlaftis, maybe he gets in there and gets a sack. I think Chris Jones is good for a sack at this point. You can just pencil him in for at least 1 every game. Maybe Dana or maybe Jerry Sneed or one of these guys that they like the corner blitz. Steve Spagnuolo does. We got Leo Chanel now. He's pressuring the quarterback.
Let's go.
So let's go. Let's swarm.
Yeah.
Let's get him.
I like that Chris Jones set such a high bar for himself. Like he had to have like 10 or 11 sacks for incentive pay, right? And like missing a game, just almost have to get a sack a game at that point. So yeah, pencil him in for 1.
Yeah, did you guys watch the New Heights Chris Jones episode yet?
I haven't.
Oh, you gotta listen to it. It's hilarious.
And
Jason Kelsey basically asks him, he goes, so did you just prove that like this whole training camp thing's a bunch of bullshit? Like, didn't go to training camp. It's pretty funny. Pretty good episode. Definitely not safe for work though with the language on that episode. So don't be playing that in the cubicle there at the office.
No, that one was yeah, they were a little off the rails on that one. Actually, I guess somebody brought it up, and they're gonna do like a swear jar now. They're gonna like donate. They're like, well, maybe we'll like give them money to pay for someone's college.
Right. Yeah. Good stuff. So Chiefs are 4-1. They're in first place in the AFC. They're taking on the Denver Broncos, trying to run the winning streak to 16 straight over the division rival. I think it happens too at Arrowhead in prime time on Thursday Night Football. Appreciate everybody who joined the show tonight, everybody who swung by. Thank you so much. We appreciate the support.
Thank you.
If you haven't clicked like yet, we appreciate that. That helps. If you haven't subscribed yet, we like that. That helps as well. We're creeping up here. We've kind of hit a little bit of a lull in the subscribers there. I was thinking maybe we were going to do the giveaway here pretty quick because the subscriber count was going up pretty steadily there. But so if you can help spread the word, tell friends, tell family member, tell them, hey, you ever check out Chiefs Kingdom Live? Here you go. Here's how you subscribe. Here's how you turn on notifications. We would sure appreciate it. We're itching to give away this stuff. We got some really cool stuff that we want to give away. So maybe we'll be back next week with a discussion about a win against the Denver Broncos and looking ahead to another AFC West showdown with the prime competition right now in the AFC West, which I don't know how much that is really saying at this point, but until next week, thanks again for joining Chiefs Kingdom Live, and let's go Chiefs!
Go Chiefs!
Go Chiefs! So back. Afro.
Did you turn it off?
I think we're double clicking it. I don't know.
All right, you hit the button.
Do it live! Fuck it!